And the teams are about to make their way out of the tunnel at Spurs' brand new home. It's time for testament to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 45,000 can pack in today as a team of Spurs legends take on former players from the blue and black half of Milan. Inter forever are the opposition. Welcome from me, Rob Daly. Can't wait for this. Some great names involved. The likes of David Ginola, Rafa van der Vaart, Dimitar Berbatov, Juan Sebastian Veron, Julien Cesar and Javier Zanetti. And of course Robbie Keane, along with Jurgen Klinsmann and Nicola Berti, who knows what it means to represent both football clubs. Gary Mabbutt takes charge of Spurs, and this should be a lot of fun. And there is Jurgen Klinsmann, who starts the game in a front two alongside Robbie Keane. And that should be a lot of fun to watch too. Some iconic players of the game involved today. This is an Inter forever side that has tremendous experience, having played together as a group effectively for 7 or 8 years. Can this Spurs team match them today? Perhaps Rafael van der Vaart can be one of those to provide the quality needed to make this a real match. Let's have a look at the Spurs team. This is the team that starts today. Robbie Keane is the captain and will start up front, we understand, with Jurgen Klinsmann, with Van der Vaart behind them. We're expecting 4 at the back. We'll see how that pans out with Carr, Chimbonda, Bassong and Tainio. Anderton, Howells and Nielsen make up the midfield 3 behind Van der Vaart. Note some of the subs as well. Dimitar Berbatov, David Ginola, Stefan Freund and Gaza.
In goal, number 1.
Inter aren't bad either. Julien Cesar won the Champions League with the football club and starts in goal. There's some real quality there, lots of Premier League experience as well, including the former Manchester United and Chelsea midfielder Juan Sebastian Veron. David Suso and Benito Carboni, another former Premier League player, will lead the attack. Klinsmann named among the Inter subs. He'll appear for them in the second half, we expect.
Number 10, Robbie Keane.
Van der Vaart in action, and we're up and running. Referee not mucking about with the kickoff. Spurs and Inter in their familiar colours. Spurs legends take on Inter forever. And yes, these kind of matches used to be a bit of light-hearted fun. The former players go head-to-head again in their late 30s, 40s and even 50s. But more and more these days, these are very, very competitive fixtures. And these clubs have history. Let's see who comes out on top this afternoon. It's moved on by Howells into Van der Vaart, who only retired from football a few months ago. Tainio out to Robbie Keane, who will be sharp, of course. Robbie Keane, now 38 years of age. Nielsen, Howells, Anderton, some real Spurs boys out there today in Tottenham Hotspur colours. Carr, Klinsmann, trying to work that into Anderton, but it's well covered by Mikel Silvestre. And Inter will look to break for the first time in the game. Here is Javier Zanetti, of course, at right back. Switched out beautifully to Zanetti. It's back in with Javier Zanetti again. So Benito Carboni, one of those in attack, and here he is, the number 10, formerly of Sheffield Wednesday and Derby County, Aston Villa in England. Also had a very good sell at Bradford. Here's Vaart. Oh, good vision by Vaart, but the flag is up and this will not count. And it's dragged wide by Bertie. Well, here is the Spurs bench. Assistant manager today is Clive Allen. And Gary Mabbutt, the man taking charge for Spurs. Of course, club ambassador these days, a former captain. Darren Anderton. Carr. Sharp feet from Carr. Anderton couldn't quite get that back under his spell. And it will go all the way back to Jules César. Umpire Galante. Back to Jules César. Well, listen to this arena right now. Takes it away from Bassong. Here's Carbone. Silvestre. Dropped in here, Karakunis. Former Greece international, not afraid to shoot. It's dropped into Carbone. He was awfully ambitious there. Shorter hair these days, Benito Carbone, from his time in England. And he had those long locks. He was an Inter player from 95 to 96. Spending just over 12 months at the football club. Keane, good area here for Spurs. Klinsmann stays out of it, and the flag will stay down. Nielsen sells his man, the dummy. Van der Vaart backed him to shoot there. Rafa Van der Vaart in his pump. Zanetti. Oh, Inter pushed a lot of players forward there. Nielsen has options left and right. Keane. Anderton wants it at the back post, and he tried to work the 1-2 with Klinsmann. And Darren Anderton was screaming for that at the back post there. And for as much as it's an honour, I'm sure, for Robbie Keane that he's wearing the captain's armband today, he'll be absolutely desperate to get himself a goal. Anderton gets a nice reception as he whips in the corner, only hits the first man, Vaart. Carbone. Suazo is fouled by Howells, and it will be a free kick in the centre circle. David Suazo, former Honduras international, is actually prolific for Inter forever. And he's scored 9 times in 10 appearances. He may be a man to watch. 1-1 back by Van der Vaart, brilliant. Keane. Now Klinsmann's on the move. Keane again. Carr's made a fine run out to his right-hand side. Here's Anderton. Howells. Whipped in by Anderton, great ball, and it's guided into the net. The flag stays down as well. Tainio at the back post is there to tuck it in. Spurs have the lead in the 7th minute. The most unlikely of goal scorers, the left back, nibs in round the back post to tuck it beyond Jules César, and even he can't believe it.
First goal for Spurs, scored in the 7th minute from number 3, Tainio.
It's a great ball into the middle by Anderton. Textbook from him. And it just floated over the head of everyone inside the penalty area. But Tainio read that and tucks it away. He only scored 3 goals for the club. And he's got one inside 7 minutes here, and Spurs are ahead against Inter. Inter are making an early substitution here. And it is Nicola Berti. And a wonderful reception here for a former Spurs player.
Substitution for Inter, replacing number 8, Nicola Berti, number 15, Usman Darboe.
So Darboe comes on and will take his place in midfield. There's some great stories from his time at Spurs, Nicola Berti. It's moved out to Zanetti. And it's picked up by Bassong. Dabo, first impact, working that into Carbone. Veron, out towards Zanetti. Veron, clips it in, away by Chimbonda. Zanetti, Tainio the goal scorer, trying to hunt it down. Well, the floodlights are on, by the way, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it gives it just an extra special feel as the sun starts to set in North London. Imagine what it's going to be like here in a few days' time for Palace. Imagine what it's going to be like for that Champions League game, that quarter-final against Manchester City. It was tempted there for a moment, wasn't he? Karakounis, who had a famous long-range effort on him, and the effort around the back by Carbone runs to the goalkeeper, Thorstvedt. Klinsmann. It's a ping from Van der Vaart. Keane again. Howells. Tainio. Howells, that's a little bit loose, picked up by Veron. And here come Inter. Chance here, Karakounis. Veron's on his own at the back post. Oh, and he decides to leave it for Carbone. Dabo. A player with experience of English football to another. Karakounis decides not to shoot again. Zanetti. Veron tries to place it. Thorstvedt makes his first save of the game. And what a wonderful reaction for the former Norway international goalkeeper. Very popular during his time at the club. Retired back in 1995, making 173 appearances in goal. Effectively replaced by Ian Walker at the tail end of his playing career at White Hart Lane. Nielsen, that was a little bit short, and Tedeschi's onto it. Veron. Zanetti has it back again. Veron, oh, look at this move, brilliant goal. Can't argue with that. David Suazo, a brilliantly orchestrated one. Pantomime boos from the Spurs fans, but that was real quality from Inter Forever, and even Jose Mourinho enjoyed that one. Well, Zanetti pinched it when there was a loose pass in midfield, and the two Argentines here had a great understanding.
In the 12th minute from number 29, David
Brilliantly orchestrated by Zanetti and Veron. It's a brilliant little back heel as well from Veron to play it into the path. Suazo for 1-1. Game on, 12 minutes in. Played down by Vaart. Howells. Nielsen, tidy little turn and touch. Veron read that. It looks like he could still be playing. Juan Sebastian Veron. And he's worked this out to Carbone. It's a little bit of support here. Dabo. Karagunis. Veron. Mikel Silvestre, formerly of Arsenal, although he's managed to evade the boos so far. An appeal for a penalty ignored by the referee. Karagunis looking for that one. Keane. Touch again from Robbie Keane. Oh, look at the run. He's got to play that. Klinsmann screaming for it. Eventually got it to him. Silvestre trying to shield it from the German striker. Keane gets on the end of it. And they can't quite work the shot on goal. Van der Vaart might do so. Dear me. to tidy it up. And Suazo is onside here with Carbone and Veron ahead of him. Veron, first touch wasn't bad, he did take it slightly away from goal. Karagunis, Carbone. Here's Zanetti again. Karagunis. Being patient with it here, Inter. Their legend side has been established since 2011. An idea by their former goalkeeper Francesco Toldo, who's in the dugout today alongside Jose Mourinho. Karagunis does shoot this time. I think it clips off Bassong on its way through. And it was Chimbonda who eventually got in the way of the ball. So it will be an Inter corner here. There was the penalty appeal. Goes down far too easily there, Karagunis. Not getting that. Flipped into the middle. Up by Howells. Haven't been able to get this away. Laurent Blanc tries his luck. And with the ball had gone behind, it will be another corner. Former France manager Laurent Blanc, who had that spell in England with Manchester United. Dabo lining up something here off the ankles of Chimbonda. Klinsmann. Van der Vaart. Tidy away from Veron, and then there was a foul. Sandwich between Carbone and Veron. Nice little touches here to just bounce away from Veron. And Keane has just scored a wonderful goal. That is outrageous from Robbie Keane. And we all know that celebration. A typical finish from Robbie Keane. And the captain for Spurs today gets the goal that he so desired. And he'll enjoy this one. Some quick thinking. The flag stayed down. And that is ridiculous. And I'm sure we've seen him score them like that before. Fully aware of where Julio Cesar was. That gets better and better with every replay. And right, he should smile. Robbie Keane makes it 2-1 Spurs. And oohs and ahs ring out around the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It will not count towards his tally, which sees him as the 11th top goal scorer in the football club's history. 122 strikes for Spurs. Good enough to be added to it. Oh, was that a push? Looking at the referee here for that challenge by Bassong, but nothing given. Bassong almost ran into too much trouble. Here's Keane trying to tidy things up against his former club. Chimbonda. Vaart. Well read by Carbone. Here's Vaart. Shoulder to shoulder there, Vaart and Vaart, who seems to be struggling after that one. Switched out by Karagounis. Carbone. Onside. Good ball as well. Dabo off the bench. Denied by the double block. Brilliant from Spurs. Chimbonda and Carr both sliding in that moment. Tainio slipped. Carbone drags it. Great chance for Benito Carbone to make it 2-2. Tainio gets away with this one. The way it bounces over his head, rather comical. But then Carbone could not hit the target. Scored 4 goals in 43 appearances for Inter. His team are on the charge here. That will be a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. And the foul is by Nielsen. And Karagounis somehow picked up a rather nasty looking injury here. He's not happy with it either, Karagounis. So Karagounis receiving some treatment now. Got past Nielsen. Well, it's purely accidental, as Howells actually tries to get out the way of him and just catches him with the knee. I told you these games are competitive now. They don't muck about. And I think Karagounis will be frustrated if he has to come off here. So the Inter physio team look to tend to Karagounis. And meanwhile, there will be a change here as Carr comes on. So he replaces Karagounis, central attacking midfield player. So he'll pop up in similar areas, the former Morocco international.
21, Georges Karagounis, number 11, Hussein Carr.
The free kick's clipped over the wall by Vaart. But not executed properly. Francesco Toldo, a great goalkeeper for the football club, spent around 9 years at Inter, joining at the age of 29, on a number of Serie A titles as well. Keane, oh, has he just saved that? They have done, away from Zanetti. Nielsen. Keane. Brilliantly away from his man there. That's wonderful football from David Howells. So Inter are playing with 3 central defenders and wing backs in Zanetti and Silvestre. Here's Keane. Here's Keane. Tainio was almost in again. Just offside this time. But he's keen to venture forward, the former Spurs left back. Was with Spurs from 2005 to 2008 after signing from the French side. Auxerre left for Sunderland eventually. Came on as a sub in the 2008 League Cup final win over Chelsea. Be forced to go all the way back to Jules César. Jules César was in goal for Inter when they beat Spurs by 4-3 at San Siro in the Champions League. And now famous for Gareth Bale's hat-trick. Of course, coming into that season having won the Champions League under Jose Mourinho, who's in the dugout today just before he left for Real Madrid. Lovely ball by Vaart again. He's been Inter's outstanding player so far. Carr, that's not bad either with the outside of the boot to Zanetti. Spurs stretched here. Howells. Chimbonda takes over. Keane, little flick. Fair challenge. Tries to thread that through to Zwijzo. Here is Van der Vaart. What a player he was for Spurs. What a group of players the club managed to assemble with him in the side, Gareth Bale in the side, Luka Modric in the side. Couple of years, a while name for Rafael van der Vaart before heading back to Hamburg in Germany. Not bad from Vaart, not bad from Mikel Silvestre as he swings this one back out to the Argentine for the most elaborate 1-2 you've ever seen. Carbone. Stephen Carr back defending. Some appeals for a penalty. That'll be a free kick, surely. Yeah, Matteo Ferrari with the late challenge there. Anderton. Being tracked here, Darren Anderton. Bassong. Tainio scored the opening goal as Spurs lead by 2-1. Robbie Keane with a goal that has the hosts in front. Nielsen. That was brilliantly done, and he looks to test Jules César from distance. And he did really well to work that into that space. Nielsen, who was at Spurs for 4 years, of course, from 1996 to 2000. A player who joined after an impressive Euro 96 in England, and of course he scored the winner in the League Cup final against Leicester, pouncing on that loose ball with a diving header at Wembley. And a 1-0 win in which he was named man of the match too. Vaart. Anderton was back into Vaart again. Just over the head of Carr. And clipped out by Anderton. Into looking to go again. It's really good skill. Carbone at the back post, so is Zanetti. Well, Inter have probably had more of the ball in the game so far. Carbone. Howells. Spurs have almost everybody back apart from Klinsmann. Carbone, Nielsen. Spurs playing on the counter-attack here. Keane couldn't quite wriggle away from Vaart. Zanetti. Suazo with the support. Carbone again. And brilliantly done by Chimbonda. That was classy. And Pascal Chimbonda. He's getting it back to his goalkeeper. Some impressive talent on that bench. And Naeem on the right, if you'd seen his kick-ups pre-match, you'd know he still has plenty of quality. Nielsen. I'm sure some of these players are just doing the extra odd session down the gym in the past few weeks, trying to get match fit. Some of them did look a little bit out of breath in the warm-up, naming no names. Keane. Klinsmann and Keane trying to work the 1-2. It's tidied up by Zanetti. Vaart pops out round the corner. Carbone onside. Vaart on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, and it's in for 2-2. Suazo with his second of the game, brilliantly made by Carbone and Vaart. And it's 2-2 coming up to the half hour at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Vaart has been absolutely brilliant. Swept the ball out towards Carbone, who chased it into the channel, but this is a well-weighted cross. Just hung it over the head of Chimbonda. Thorstvedt could not quite keep it out. Lifted in, and we're all level again. Inter have twice come from behind here. Francesco Toldo taking this seriously and not mucking about. Into forever. Keane. Bassong goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Of course, Spurs' first team are in action tomorrow as they travel to Anfield to face Liverpool. And Spurs' first team were on the pitch here during the week for a first training session at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're all very impressed. Dele Alli said he was one of those who didn't want to see the stadium half finished. He only wanted to come when it was completely done. Van der Vaart, Keane, lovely little combination. Keane still going, he'll try his luck here, and tucked in by Nielsen. That was wonderful. And both teams are having fun out there right now. Alan Nielsen, a League Cup hero for Spurs, has got one against Inter forever here as they lead for a third time. He was heavily involved in the build-up with Klinsmann and Keane and Van der Vaart. That was lovely. Wasn't properly hacked away by the Inter defenders. And then Keane, we know he has that in his locker, the ability to go for the spectacular. And Nielsen was there to tuck it in. That's an assist. A poacher from close range, as he showed in that 1999 League Cup final against Leicester. Pinged out by Vaart. Zanetti. And he will get the free kick here. So Inter will look to move this into the penalty area. Oh, and another free kick's been given. As Rafael Van der Vaart tried to pop away with possession, a little smile back to Dabo, who's on the deck. Carboni. Veron doesn't reach his intended target this time. Keane. Oh, brilliant. Maybe Keane still got it. Anderton couldn't quite thread it back into the former Ireland goalscorer. Carboni. Anderton did well, having lost the ball in the middle of the park, to disrupt that counter-attack for Inter. Left back by Silvestre into the middle and eventually through to the goalkeeper. Spurs first team without Eric Dyer, Serge Aurier for the game against Liverpool tomorrow. Stefan Freund is about to be introduced here. This ball picked up by Blanc. Well read by the Norwegian between the posts. Karja. Silvestre. Formerly of Arsenal. He spent most of his playing career in England with Manchester United. That noise is because Stefan Freund is warming up along the touchline. He's got to put a bib on. They're doing this properly. Stefan Freund still warming up on the touchline. Here's Carboni for Inter. There is a game going on meanwhile, as the German catches everyone's eyes on the touchline with his antics. It's out to Zanetti. Veron's made a run. Worked out to Carboni. Chimbonda tight. He's going to give a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area here. Scott Chimbonda felt that he didn't really do anything wrong. Well, here comes the change for Spurs. Stefan Freund entering the vault. He says, I'm going to be 50 next January, so this is something of an early birthday present for me. 102 appearances for the club. He never scored for Spurs. A smile and a hug from Gary Mabbutt as Nielsen, who got the goal for 3-2, comes off. I was speaking back to Stefan Freund back in December. He said he couldn't wait to get out here. And now he gets his opportunity.
Number 16, Nielsen. Number 24, Stefan Freund.
Has he still got it? Let's see. He'll be robust in the centre of midfield and in the centre of the ball here for Spurs. Players from all different eras lining up to try and keep out this free kick. Just one of those over it. So's Carboni, and it's on target. Spilled by the goalkeeper and tucked in by Veron. He has his goal, and Inter a level for a third time in a first half that has toed and froed. Just spilled out, and Stephen Carr couldn't quite react quickly enough to sweep it away from Thorstvedt's initial save. Veron just stabs it over the goal line for Spurs Legends 3, Inter forever 3. Well, we didn't see the best of Juan Sebastian Veron in England, I think it's fair to say, from his time with Manchester United and Chelsea. And many of his better days in Italy. Another change coming now, as Matteo Ferrari, who's been playing in the central defence, makes way. And Sandro Bianchi's on. Robbie Keane is in. Eventually denied a route to goal.
Substitution for Inter forever, replacing number 31 Matteo Ferrari, number 7 Alessandro Bianchi.
Just moved out there by Silvestre, and Spurs will get a throw in inside the Inter half. Spurs have been ruthless when they have been able to fashion an opportunity. Howells. Bassong. Has been playing football relatively regularly and recently as well. Sebastian Vrong. Bassong. Freund. Good play. Chimbonda. Howells. Carr tried to feed it into Darren Anderton. It was just read by Galante. So Crystal Palace will be the first side to play here in a Premier League game. First Spurs proper match in midweek, with the opening ceremony as well. The closing ceremony for the old White Lane was a rather special event. I'm sure the opening ceremony will be too. Van der Vaart out to Carr. Carr. Anderton. Pocket picked. Veron gets it off Suazo. Oh, what a pass that is. Well read by the goalkeeper. Anderton. Got that fine assist in the early minutes of the game, Darren Anderton. Looks like a change here, as Dimitar Berbatov is about to come on. Well, Robbie Keane is about to make way, and he's pointing to his hip here. He might be struggling, Robbie Keane, but a special day nonetheless as the crowd chant Keano. Listen to that. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is on its feet for one of their all-time great goal scorers, Robbie Keane, who scored a delightful goal earlier as well.
Replacing number 10, Robbie Keane, number 9, Dimitar Berbatov.
The two players who know each other exceptionally well. Berbatov on for Keane. On one of those to come over and check him out, and Gaza. So Dimitar Berbatov is now up front, wearing the number 9 shirt for Spurs. Tainio, cut up by Dabo in midfield. Bassong. Into forever, a team that travels around to the world, playing some of the best Legends teams around, including the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid and Bayern. These two clubs have met on so many occasions, particularly in recent times, even this season in the Champions League. No way through for Klinsmann. Spurs losing at San Siro in the group stage of the Champions League. but beating them at Wembley. Spurs pipping Inter to second spot in their group. We know what happened next. The winner for Borussia Dortmund, and now a quarter-final tie against the Premier League leaders Manchester City to come. Carbone. Zanetti. Mabbutt. Bianchi. Zanetti. Nice football this from Inter. Oof. Get away with that one, Spurs. Flicked on nicely to Klinsmann. Trying to break through here, Klinsmann. Of course, had 2 spells at Spurs. Was exceptionally popular when he arrived in 1994. Jürgen Klinsmann described it as a huge honour to be playing at the new stadium today. Tied up well by Bassong. Van Vaart. Retired late last year. Rafael Van Vaart ending his playing career in Denmark. Berbatov, as casual as ever, setting away Carr. Klinsmann's in the middle, and I'm not quite sure what Stephen Carr was going for there. And neither was he. Well, I don't think he's going to get told off by Gary Mabbutt at half-time. But that facial expression seemed to say to himself, what was that? Blanc. Coming up to half-time here, some of the players, I'm sure, will be relieved for the breather. Very entertaining. Spurs have led 3 times in this match. Tainio put them ahead inside the opening 6 minutes. There was also a goal for Keane, which made it 2-1 after Suazo's equaliser. He's had 2, the Inter striker. Nielsen tucked away a nice finish for 3-2 before Vaart tapped in the equaliser. So half-time here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on a wonderful evening in North London. Spurs Legends 3, Inter Forever 3. Welcome back to our coverage from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're at half-time in this very entertaining game so far. It is Spurs Legends 3, Inter Forever 3. Tottenham Hotspur have led the game 3 times, but have been paid back on each occasion. The 2 teams just making their way back out for the start of the second half. A group of players which includes the former Spurs goalkeeper Sullivan. Rafael Van Vaart just dishing out some instructions to some of his teammates here. He had some wonderful little touches in that opening 45. And Naeem is out there too. Wearing the number 50 for Spurs today. Is that Jules César in an outfield player's kit? It might be. Neil Sullivan will stick to what he knows best, playing in goal.
Number 78,
and we're back underway.
Replacing number 12, Julio César, number 1, Luca Castellazzi.
As we'll see if more changes are forthcoming. Here is Vaart for Inter, who was probably the best player on the park, along with Robbie Keane in that opening 45 minutes before Keane went off injured. And Karagounis is back after his head injury in the first half, which was rather nasty, bleeding after he was caught by the knee of Howells. There was no intent at all. Carboni to the byline. Claims corner. Won't get it. Goal kick given by our referee today. Well, some changes have been made. It's always tricky to keep track of them in a friendly scenario, but Sullivan is on in goal. And Paul Staltieri into the action. It's swept out by Sullivan. On by Anderton. Karagounis. Will be a free kick. Left for Zanetti. Dabo. Vaart. Naim wins it. Terry just shut down there, and he comes in at left back for the man who scored the opening goal in this game. Jürgen Klinsmann off, and Vicky Hazard is getting involved too. Anderton. Van der Vaart. Played into Anderton. Just shut down this time. Vaart. Looking for a little bit of movement ahead. He's moved that out. By the way, Nicola Ventola has come on up front, wearing number 78 for Inter. Here's Dabo. So it looks like Suazo scored 2 goals in the first half at Inter Forever has come off. And Javier Zanetti now having to do a job out at left back, it would appear. Moved back by Chris Perry, who's come on at half-time to play in the central defence. Ventola. Clipped into the middle, well gathered by Sullivan, now very respected goalkeeping coach. Freund, oh, he's broken through it, and he nearly popped that ball into Darren Anderton. Howells bounces away from Karagounis. Anderton tried to sweep that into Dimitar Berbatov. Carboni. Dabo, formerly of Manchester City. Berbatov on the hunt. Van der Vaart does really well. Almost had his pocket picked. Bassong. Just about got that ball out to Stephen Carr. Is it again? Oh, brilliant. Nearly made that second pass connect. Vaart trying to slide that through. Van der Vaart. A real mix of generations out there right now for Tottenham Hotspur. Is Berbatov. Carr available out on the right-hand side. Howells. Van der Vaart. Karagounis read that from Anderton. Here comes the Euro 2004 winner. He's done well. Carboni. Bertola's in the middle, and it's put behind by Perry. Now does a lot of media work. Chris Perry, the former Spurs central defender. Joined from Wimbledon back in 1999 for what was a Spurs club record of £4 million. Wouldn't stretch that far these days. And Tola's there, holds away towards Berbatov, who won't keep that in. Berbatov, very popular player during his time at the club, 27 goals in 70 appearances for Spurs. Karagounis. It's well challenged. Terry. It's hard to believe it's more than a decade since Dimitar Berbatov famously left on transfer deadline day for Manchester United. Nearly 11 years ago. On by Silvestre. Here's Vaart. I can't even tell if he's bothered with shin pads today. And he's just pinged another perfect pass. And over by Bianchi. What a ball by Vaart again. He's been ridiculous today. There can't be any shin pads there. Oh, Bianchi, nice little drop of the shoulder here. Ventola, Vaart's in the middle, so's Carbone. Has done an excellent job in front of that back four, just tidying things up. But Karagounis is darting into the penalty area tonight. It will be a corner to Inter forever here. Stefan throwing Keane to be the marker for the short corner. Well, the noise that has gone up around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is because Paul Gascoigne is warming up on the touchline. Karagounis. Vaart. Silvestre. Karagounis darts inside well here, doesn't test Sullivan. Spurs have players forward. Berbatov, Anderton and Van der Vaart available on the far side. Here is Dimitar Berbatov still. He wants a runner of some kind. Moved on by Van der Vaart. Naeem. Howells. Carr. Carr again. It's well read by Dabo. Karagounis. How many times has David Howells won that ball in a loose area in the middle of midfield? Is it Gaza time? I think it is. I think the change will happen now. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is on its feet. Listen to this for the one and only Paul Gascoigne.
Substitution for Spurs, replacing number 11, Rafa van der Vaart. Number 8, Paul Gascoigne.
What a brilliant moment. And Paul Gascoigne, who did spend part of his career in Italy, comes on to face Italian opposition. Zanetti. Karagounis. Dabo. It looks like Paul Gascoigne's up front. It's a little loose there. Naeem almost won it. Freund, Berbatov, Anderton, and laid off by Gascoigne. A little bit loose, that one, from Paul Gascoigne. Trying to find Berbatov. Carboni. Spins into Neil Sullivan. He was excellent when he signed for Tottenham Hotspur in 2000. Karagounis. Vaart will try his luck, can't test Sullivan. It's not wince there as he fires that one over the bar. Interesting, Vaart. Didn't have Sullivan too concerned. Berbatov does get the throw in. Gascoigne can't find Berbatov. Oh, it's been won. And that will be a free kick. Mikkel Silvestre got himself in all sorts of bother there, trying to stop Darren Anderton breaking through. And some Spurs fans calling for a red card. Not forthcoming from the referee. Spurs have a free kick regardless. Oh, brilliant. Naive. Tummy from Paul Gascoigne in midfield. Bassong. Back to Sullivan. Picked up by Vaart. Karagounis. He's been threatening to shoot all day, but hasn't really done so. Zanetti. Will he have a pop? Carboni. Slice this time. He's had a couple like that, Benito Carboni, where he's dragged them. And another favourite is about to be introduced. Darren Anderton gets a wonderful reception himself, but he will be replaced by David Ginola.
Number 7, Darren Anderton. Number 14, David Ginola.
And a smile from David Ginola, pulling on boots for the first time since he suffered a cardiac arrest in a charity match in France nearly 3 years ago. He says he couldn't wait to get on the pitch today. One of the great entertainers of the Premier League era, David Ginola. Won the League Cup with the club in 1999 and was a PFA Players Player of the Year and Football Writers Footballer of the Year while at Tottenham Hotspur. And the Frenchman trying to track Vaart here. It's a nice touch to move the ball away by Galante. Karagounis into the middle. For the spectacular, now Gascoigne to Ginola. Oh, he can't quite get around Karagounis there. And Karagounis has dispossessed David Ginola. Away by Bassong. Naive. Howells. Berbatov can't bring it down. Stefan Freund, who was the first half sub, is making way now. And Mickey Hazard, 2 spells for Spurs.
Replacing number 24.
The skillful playmaker
Number 15,
comes on.
Mickey Hazard.
Still very closely associated with the football club. Let's see if he can wreak some havoc now. They're all getting a run out. Karagounis. Vaart on the money to Zanetti. Carbone. Karagounis has snuck in. Oh, it's a brilliant finish from Nicola Ventola, and Inter have the lead in the game for the first time. It was very well orchestrated by the visitors. Carbone with that range of passing again. Found Karagounis. And it's really tiny, near impossible for Neil Sullivan to get down in time and parry that one away from the near post. Vitolo had a couple of spells at Inter as a player. Retired about 8 years ago, looking sharp there to tuck it away for 4-3. As Francesco Toldo and Jose Mourinho work out tactically what to do next. Ginola. That's what we want, back heels. So I think Spurs now have a front five of Gascoigne, Ginola, Hazard, Berbatov and Naeem. Inter finding their rhythm though in the second half. Karagounis. Naeem gets the free kick. Did well to shield the ball that time. Was at Spurs from 1988 to 1993 before a 4-year spell at Real Zaragoza, having signed for Spurs from Barcelona. Naeem. It's the famous goal for Real Zaragoza against Arsenal in the final from near the halfway line, hence the song. 50 on his back today. It was roughly that many yards out from which he lobbed David Seaman. And right on cue, they sing the song about it. Berbatov holds on to it well. Ginola. Hazard. Ginola. Perry slightly isolated here. Karagounis available to Ventola. Vaart. Carbone. Karagounis. Carbone yet to score. His finishing has been way off the mark today. Got himself into a number of good positions, Benito Carbone, but hasn't really been able to test either of the Spurs goalkeepers on show today. Ginola. Berbatov. Goes down by Carbone. Free kick. Well, there's around 30,000 for the under-18 game last weekend in that 3-1 win for Spurs over Southampton. Karagounis from in halfway line himself. Well, he's been full of energy in this second half. Georgios Karagounis. Tried to catch out Neil Sullivan from near the halfway line, as David Beckham famously did for Manchester United when Sullivan was a Wimbledon goalkeeper. It's lovely football. Bobby Hazard, Ginola and Howells. Here's Berbatov. So Jerry will keep it in. Naeem. Well, Gascoigne's on the edge of the penalty area, trying to find Hazard there. And Dabo moves it on, and Karagounis flying forward now. Carbone. Carr trying to stay tight to him. Carr right back today, by the way, made 270 appearances for the club. Karagounis thumps it against Howells. Berbatov. Berbatov again. Reinforcements arriving here. Back out to Carr, two at the back post. Berbatov! Oh, brilliant goal! 4-4! And what a finish from Dimitar Berbatov! The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium enjoyed that one. A classy header, and we're all level at the midway point in the second half. Really nice build-up play once again. But Stephen Carr certainly picks out the Bulgarian with that precise cross.
Fourth goal for Spurs legend, scored in the
and Dimitar Berbatov, who scored 46 goals for Spurs, plants that one into the corner. Slightly behind him, adjusted well, and beats the goalkeeper. There was little hope for Luca Castellazzi in the Inter goal. So a number of changes coming up here. So Jurgen Klinsmann, who represented Spurs in the first half, is going to come on in Nerazzurri colours. I think some of those ageing Spurs midfielders won't be sad to see the back of Karagounis here if he's the player making way. Full of energy and off. Here comes Klinsmann.
For Inter, replacing number 7, Alessandro Bianchi. Number 9, Jurgen Klinsmann.
Scored 34 goals in 95 games for Inter in a 3 as well, before he joined Monaco. And then eventually ended up at Spurs, of course. Karja and Suazo are both on.
Number 11, Hussein Karja.
So fresh legs for Inter. Moved on by Galante to Klinsmann. Carr, that brilliant assist, picks the ball up here, took a little bit too long in possession. Well, I don't know which of the challenges the referee's given that for, but it's one of them. Paul Gascoigne, meanwhile, has had his cameo. Off it comes to a wonderful ovation.
Substitution for Spurs replacing.
And some tiny touches as Tainio comes on for him. And the bench on its feet too. A few of them are in the waters right now, including Robbie Keane. Vaart, meanwhile, with the Inter free kick and nearly sweeps that underneath the crossbar. An emotional moment for Paul Gascoigne back at Tottenham Hotspur. He lit up White Hart Lane. And it's been smiles all round at Spurs' new home since his introduction. And to get another free kick on the edge of the Spurs Legends penalty area. Benito Carbone getting rather heated. This was the player who came across there. Free kick, good area. Sullivan lining up his wall. Spurs Player of the Year, by the way, in 2001, Neil Sullivan. The Scotland international trying to sort out that four-man wall. Carbone. It's another wide one for the Italian. Determined to get on the score sheet in North London this evening. By the way, with the floodlights on now and it pretty much dark overhead, the new stadium looks absolutely unbelievable. And when you drive up here or walk up here, get the train up here, it emerges pretty quickly, this giant spaceship of a thing in North London. The Tottenham Hotspur can now call their home. They've waited and been patient, the fans, of course. But they will see Premier League football here this season. They'll see Champions League football here this season. Falco's coming on next for Spurs. And it's the end of the game for Naeem. So he'll make way now. He said he wanted to see if this stadium had the same feel as it did at White Hart Lane.
Substitution for Spurs, replacing number 50, Naeem, number 19, Mark Falco.
So on comes Mark Falco for his appearance now with just over 16 minutes to play, 58 years of age now, and who came through the Spurs Academy to make it into the first team. From Hackney, proper Spurs man, idolised Jimmy Greaves and the like of that era. Said he wasn't the most skillful of players for Spurs, but he always tried his best. Vaart. Zanetti. By Vaart, Carbone, Zanetti, just beyond the reach of Laurent Blanc initially, who's back on the pitch, but he's done well to retrieve it and place it to Dabo. Zanetti. Vaart. His compatriots made a sharp run. Dabo drives it. Goes behind for a corner. Jessica Toldo having a quick chat here with Julio Cesar, who is still in an outfield kit. So imagine they're up to something there. Mabbutt took that down very well. Go behind for another corner. Sullivan can't prevent it. In to take the corner. So Jules César preparing to come on. Is Klinsmann. First real touches in intercolours tonight for him. Hazard, oh wow, that was brilliant. And David Schindler is the one to lay it off. Can't keep it in. Spurs just can't move it away from their penalty area, but a brilliant little moment there from Hazard. Vaart. Dabo. So what, 13.5 minutes to play. Into with all the ball. Galante onto Blanc. Blanc again. Backed away by Perry. Dropped down by Berbatov, who gets it back again, looking to sweep it clear. Has he got away with this one? He has. Berbatov couldn't quite find Howells down the line, who I think has played every single minute so far. I don't think he's come off. Keane wants a bit more of the action. Klinsmann, nice layoff. Carbone, good save, Sullivan. Tiny little bit of play between Inter's 9 and 10 on the edge of the penalty area. Hasn't been able to get his goal today, Benito Carbone. Ginola. First touch was great, appealing for a free kick, doesn't get it. On by Vaart. Is that going to be a free kick? No. That's a well weighted. Here comes Spurs. Tainio scored the opening goal of the evening. Some brilliant stuff from Spurs here. Ginola. Hazard. He's running things in the middle at the moment. If they were able to finish this off, this has been a brilliant passing move. Ginola, that would have been special. But that was more like it from the Spurs legends at 4-4. Zanetti, Vaart. It's just been kept in by Carr. Dabo. It back again. Zanetti, Klinsmann, been able to turn and shoot there. Carbone. Howells, what a pass! Glorious 50-yard ball up towards Berbatov. Ginola with him. He's on his own. But even Dimitar Berbatov could not dance away from 4 or 5 into defenders. Well won by Perry. Carr. Much tighter second half. It was 3-3 in the first half, 1-1 in the second. Ginola. Dabo showed a bit too much to his man. Berbatov tries to clip that in first time. Tainio had made a run forward from left back again. Klinsmann. That will reach its man. Howells. A little bit loose that time. Swazo scored 2 goals in the opening half of this game. Look at Berbatov here if Schindler gets his head up. Brought down brilliantly by the Bulgarian, and that's not bad either. Stalteri charging forward. Tainio. And they could not quite make it happen, the 2 left backs. Brilliant from Berbatov though on the halfway line. Keane and Julio Cesar still wait on the touchline. Something the ball hasn't gone out of play for a few minutes. They've been down there ages. Carbone. Good ball. Bassong's done well to shield him from it. And we will now get the changes. So, how about that touch from Dimitar Berbatov? He's still got it. And the pass to the outside of the right boot was a delightful 2. So Carbone off, and Julio Cesar, the Champions League winning goalkeeper, looks like he's going to go up front here. David Ginola has had his moments out there this evening as well. This is surely a special moment for the Frenchman too. Cool as ever. Robbie Keane's back for more, can't help himself, despite that first half injury. Here come Inter again. It's good running this from Swazo. Here's Carr. Keane. Tainio. That's good. Stalteri. Look at Keane in the middle. He's all on his own. Robbie Keane just denied the ball. Almost got underneath it there, Robbie Keane. Vaart. Antonio cuts that one out. Hasn't. The Spurs teammates look to be saying, don't make us run. Just drop back to Berbatov. Bassong. Stalteri playing at left back right now for Spurs. Flew over from Canada for this game. Might be called into action defensively here as it's well weighted. Oh, brilliant defending from Bassong. Swazo was in for his hat-trick, it looked like there, but brilliantly defended by the ex-Spurs centre-back, Sebastian Bassong. Vaart. Taken down well by Carr. Berbatov. Keane screaming for it. Berbatov. Tainio's made the run forward. Cannot work out what position he's playing. He's now up front with Keane. So less than 5 minutes to go. short for Berbatov. Carr will come across to try and stop an attack down this side with Julio Cesar. Moved on by the former Inter goalkeeper. Hung up his gloves a year ago, Julio Cesar. And gone back to play in his native Brazil. And Karagounis is back on. And that pass from Perry found Howells, but that was loose, and Klinsmann pounced, but Bassong did exceptionally well here. And they represented Cameroon at international level. Spent 3 years at Tottenham Hotspur. Karagounis. So Karagounis is back on. Bundle of energy out there for Inter, who are looking to win this game late. Karagounis. Silvestre. Julio Cesar. Klinsmann. Karagounis. What are they up to here? Karagounis are swinging in. Bassong's there again. I don't think he's come off today. I think he's played the full game. Playing as recently as last year, Bassong. Clipped over the top to Berbatov, who's onside. Rides a couple of challenges. Carr. Trying to take on Silvestre, almost gets round him. Almost. Julio Cesar. On the charge, he will eventually get the free kick. Not bad with his feet, is he, Julio Cesar? Vaart. Zanetti, who is back out to right back now. Raining challenge after challenge. Karagounis. Vaart. Klinsmann's in the middle. Hazard. Klinsmann. Both sets of players slipping out there at the moment. Zanetti! Good save, Sullivan! Oh, will they keep it out? Carr! Oh, they've scored! And Inter have got their goal to make it 5-4 in the 89th minute, despite the attempted heroics of Sullivan. Did so brilliantly to nearly keep it out, the goalkeeper, after chaos on the edge of the box. That's a really good save to deny Zanetti, and then bodies were flying in. Chris Perry tried to get across as well, but they could do nothing about it. And eventually, seeing Carr managed to just get it beyond Sullivan, who was on the deck. It looks like Inter have got themselves a late win. Francesco Totti looking to see out the victory. Jurgen Klinsmann waves goodbye as Ventola comes on for the final seconds.
Number 9, Jurgen Klinsmann, was 78, Nicola Ventola.
So 30 seconds here. Looks like Hazard can't continue. He's had some brilliant touches though out there today. Chimbonda's on.
15, Nicky Hazard. Number 39, Chimbonda.
Last seconds now, Berbatov. Nicely worked out. Chimbonda. Spurs looking for an even later equaliser here. Keane. 2 minutes of added time. Back by Julio Cesar. Ventola. charging at Carr, who won't let him past. Oh, and a back in as well to Chimbonda. Let's try to backheel that into Chimbonda. Karagounis. Where's he going now? Just played his football in West London. Karagounis for Fulham. Cesar. Karagounis. Shut down eventually. Howells. 50 seconds left. Keane. Great ball into Berbatov. Can he keep it? Oh, and it's just a bit too heavy this time for Tainio. Was genuinely disappointed there, the former Spurs fullback, that he wasn't able to ping that into a teammate. Vaart nearly had that picked away by Berbatov. Well, it's been a fun evening. We've seen Paul, Gascoigne, David, Ginola, Naeem all back in Spurs shirts in to win the game 5-4.